Alright, so I have business here to demo weave pole shaking. She's a very fast dog, which is why I chose her. She's only had 2 or 3 sessions on weave pole, so she's still pretty young on them, fresh to be a good demo dog, but she's fast. And if I can show you how to do this with a fast dog, then you can do it with any speed dog. Slower dogs are a lot easier to use this method with. The fast dog, you really have to work your body and learn how to read them quickly. So basically I have the whole set up here, but I only have 2 poles. So I start with 2 poles, kind of similar to a 2x2, I guess. And I'm going to come from the side. I work offsides first, just because I like offsides better. It doesn't matter. We're going to work both sides, so it doesn't matter where you start. But I'm going to come, and I usually start at about a 90-degree angle. I get my dog on the appropriate side. Wait. And then I gently walk forward and kind of push with my shoulders to push them around that first pole. As soon as they come around that first pole, I mark and I drop a cookie on my side of the weave pole side. Yes. Cool. So I want that to be a really exaggerated wrap, which is why they're literally going and wrapping it and coming straight back to me, and I'm rewarding over here. Reward placement is really important in this. It can make things go very wrong very fast if you don't have the appropriate reward placement. Business. Yes. Sometimes, obviously she knows this game already. I might have to get way up here with the dog and kind of lean and push. I never want my hand across the plane of the weaves because I don't want it to become a lured exercise. I am using my body technically to lure a little bit, but it's still shaped. They're still choosing where to go, and we're still starting small and then building up. So I might do a little bit of a push to get them around a pole, or I might lean a little bit, use my body pressure to influence them, and then I try to back off of that as quickly as I can. So business here. Yes. So after I do a couple of reps of that, I would switch to the other side and do the same thing over here. Yes. Yes. Again, timing is very important, or you might start to see a dog blowing through stuff and blowing past other poles. I want that reward, again, way out here, because I want them to learn that that's a really tight wrap. I don't want them to really loosely kind of go into this weave pole, right? They might start skipping the next pole if that were the case. And I'll show you how we're going to fix, they're not going to run into poles and then run back out. I'll show you how we make that happen as we add poles as well. So come back here, business. Yes. So you can see this is really hands-off with a fast, drivey dog that starts to figure out the game. It goes really fast, but you also have to be careful about how you're pushing them and how you're moving your body so that you don't go too fast. So I'm going to add a 3rd pole now. She understands this just fine. She's up to 6 poles offside. About 85–90% of the time, she's at 6 poles onside about 60% of the time. She's not as good onside. We just haven't practiced as much. So I'm going to come back over here offside. I'm going to do the same push again with her, except when I mark this time, watch where I reward her. This is what's really important going forward, okay? Yes. She understands the game, so yes. So, she got back in. So she was anticipating going forward a little bit more. Let's get back here. Yes. Yes. So, you can see I dropped my shoulder to bring her in because she thinks she's going to come right back in here again where I was giving cookies over here. As soon as I drop my shoulder, I got the cookie in my hand, and then I pulled her forward. Can you do that again? Yes. Right past the plane of this weave pole. I don't want to reward her behind it because she might choose to sneak around it. So I pull her forward, and I reward right there, and then I use my body pressure. Oops, she was sitting on the floor. I use my body pressure to push her through the next set of poles. Yes. Yes. So you can see, as she's eating that cookie out of my hand, I kind of hesitate on just letting it go. She's kind of chewing on it for a second. I put my foot forward here to block her. Yes. And then after she's done eating it and I release, I lean forward just a little bit and she pushes through those poles. Again, I don't want to do any hand motions. My hands never want to cross the plane of the weave pole. I don't want it to become a weird, lured behavior. Business, come here. Let's go, good girl. Go. Yes. Yes. And so then I would toss my cookie out. Now, when I toss my cookie out, I'm going to vary that a little bit at the end of the weave poles because technically, I don't want her to keep getting the habit of going way over there for the reward after this pull, right? She's going to need to wrap back this way. So in the beginning, I'll just toss a couple of them out, you know, the first 2 or 3 reps, and then I'll mark and I'll start tossing it to this side a little bit. So I would do this. Yes. Yes. Right here. That way she learns that she needs to wrap that pole tight again. And again, go back and forth. About 50% of the time I would do one, and 50% of the time I would do the other. We want her to continue driving forward, but we also want her to know that she's going to need to pull in and wrap tight. So then we would go to the other side. Yes. Good job. Oops. Get that cookie. And you'll notice the other side is going to be, you're like, well, I can just add another pole, because as soon as she comes around this first one, you know, we're a pole ahead of ourselves now. So we can go ahead and add another pole. What is this here? You're getting great. Oh, yes. On the body. Yes. Great job. Here it is. Yes. 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 Good girly. So then we can add more poles, right? Most dogs are not going to get up to 6 poles in a session. A lot of times they can get really food-driven, quick dogs. Not necessarily the business quick, but just, you know, they're athletic and they're moving appropriately, not fat, overweight dogs. I can usually get them up to about 4 poles in a session, and usually that's going to be, one side's going to be a lot better than the other side, which is fine. You can always come back and work the other side as long as you know that you need to be doing that, right? So then we can come back, and this is her bad side, so we'll see what she remembers. Yes. Yes. Whoops. She's ready to keep going. So again, fast dogs, harder to manipulate. Yes. 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 Good job. So once I get up to 6 poles, I'm still going to do that all the way down until I can start to test my dog, until I think that they're really comfortable. This is good. Yes. 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 And she's kind of like, why are you waiting, lady? Because she's already going through them on her own, right? So then, once I have them doing this with the lure, you know, or with the reward every pull, I'll start backing off on some of them, and usually I'll start backing off on the first one. So if I'm doing offsides now and they're up to 6 pulls, and I'm, you know, marking it every pull, I'm going to probably back off on this cookie first, because she has a ton of reward for this one, right? She's gotten rewards for this through all of these reps getting down the line, so she has the least rewards on the last set. So I'm going to get rid of this reward first. Sometimes dogs benefit if you still mark that, and then kind of maybe give them a little bit of a lean and indicate they need to keep going, because sometimes they'll pause and look at you. Sometimes dogs, if you don't say anything, they'll just start to figure it out. You kind of have to know your dog and test it, try each one, see what they like better. Business usually does better if I mark it, at least in the beginning, so I'm going to mark it, excuse me, the first couple of times we do this, and then I'm going to start backing off of that. I don't want her to get into the habit of always needing that marker, because I don't want her to keep hesitating, thinking that there's a cookie coming, if that makes sense. When she needs that marker, it's because she's not sure what she's doing next. And she kind of hesitates, thinking that each time I mark, there's a cookie coming. And we want that speed going forward. Here it is. Yeah, good job. Yes. 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 So basically, I want my yes word to always mean that there's a cookie coming. So she's hesitating to get a cookie from me appropriately, and not hesitating where she shouldn't be. Yes. Yes. So you're still rewarding at the end of your pulls. You're still rewarding your midway point. You're just not rewarding that support at the very beginning. Yes. Yes. So we just want to have success, so we backed up a step. I made sure that she was getting another reward at the beginning that time. Now we'll go back again. Yes. Yes. She's getting 2 in that one. We're going to go and we're just going to give her a cookie at the end this time. Yes. 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 Great job. At the end, notice how I stay back a little bit. I drop my shoulder. I want it to be really evident that she needs to come into me, because if I just kind of ran through that, she would blow by these weak pulls. So take a look at this. Go. Yes. Yes. Oh, she actually did great there. Awesome, Biz. So we've been proofing that. Apparently some late learning took place, and she's like, oh, I got this. Let's go. Yeah, good job. I wanted to give her success there because she did so good and blew my mind that last time, so I did hesitate a little bit. Yeah, good job, Busy. There was no hesitation on my part that time. I stayed completely straight. Busy. Ready? Go. Go, go, that time she got excited because I talked to her. So we can put her on the other side really quick and see how she's going to do over here. Supporting a couple of those again. Yes. 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 Great job. Business. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So now we'll back off of that first one. My dog's crazy. Hi, baby. Nope. She's getting excited now. Yes. Yes. Oops. Yes. Yes. Oops. So we're getting too much forward momentum on my part going down the line. She's getting excited and she's rushing now. Yes. 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 Good girl. Yes. 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 That was much better. I didn't reward her the first time, but I did the second at the end. Yes. Whoops. So that was too much of my body pressure close to her. Some dogs need like support right here. She's a border collie, so I had to step a little bit further away from her, and she's been operating at this distance. So when I stepped in, she was like, I'm gonna go around that pole too. Yes. Yes. Great job. So you can see how it teaches them to really act independently, and we can get up to a lot of waves really fast. Yes. Yes. Great job. And you can also see how we fade them so that they're not relying on us forever. One more. Yeah. Yes. Great job. Good choice. Yeah. And like I said, I told you that we were proofing on the other side that speed. So once I have my dog working really well, doing what they're doing, ideally only getting rewards at the very end. What is this? Oh. Yes. So when they're at that point getting rewards at the very end, on either side, you can go faster on one side than you do the other. If they're doing better on that side, you can push them harder on that side, or you can take the time to work on the other side to get them to the same level. It doesn't matter. As long as you do eventually, work both sides equally and get that to the same point. So once they're to that point where they're doing all 6 week poles, I'm going to start proofing it by changing my body position, right? So I'm going to start moving faster and pushing them and seeing at what point they pop out. And if they're popping out at a certain point, I'm going to keep moving fast, and I'm going to find a way to be able to mark that and get a reward in there at whatever pole they're popping out at because I'm moving so fast. That way they start to figure out, like, just because she's moving differently or moving faster doesn't mean I need to do anything differently. It builds their drive. So in the beginning, I work on all the precision, all the skills, and the understanding of what they're doing. And then I start building speed. And if I start building speed and they're popping a lot or consistently, I'm just going to take an entire step back and I'm just going to work on all that precision stuff again. I'll just go back and do 5 to 10 reps in a couple of sessions of rewarding every pole or rewarding the problem pole a lot. That way they remember, like, oh yeah, this is the game. Sometimes they don't quite understand the concept before we move on to drive. So once they start getting quicker or they get over threshold, they completely forget what they're supposed to be doing. So occasionally I'll need to go back to remind them what the concept is of the game. That way that no matter what drive and how aroused they are, they're like, this is the game, I need to do this pattern. I don't get rewarded without the pattern, I don't get to keep playing without the pattern. Right? What do you think? Yeah, good girl. Okay, we're all done.